Well, 2 weeks ago, I had a tweet that, had a mind of its own at that point.
It really did.
Yeah. I confessed to Rock Nation had been paying me to support Megan. I revealed that Jay-Z had paid off the judge by doing a verse for his grandson's album, and that he paid off all the jury members, the doctors, all the police in LA, as well as all the other police people, and he even paid off Trump. Oh, and he also got Tory stabbed by the Mexican guy. And, I really, as I'm writing this, I'm trying to make it more and more stupid, line by line. And I'm thinking, okay, no one's really going to believe this. This is stupid, like all of it. Every last part. I think it's like 15 million impressions right now.
Yeah.
All types of think pieces.
150,000 likes on it or something, which is pretty...
10,000 comments.
It's almost unprecedented on Twitter. Like, I for sure, that's way more engagement than any tweet I've ever had has gotten.
I had a video game tweet that did more than that. Remember that video game tweet?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the depression one. That was like a 25 million.
Wow.
I'm interested to see what my check from X looks like this month.
Yo, because I had a month where I got like $2,000 from X.
The most I got is, I think it was like 200.
Really?
So we'll see what this one does.
I don't know where. Yeah, I have no idea how that shit works, but.
Well, this thing took off, and everyone and their mother called me. Like literally every person I've ever met called me to check up on me. I don't understand how people did not see the sarcasm in this, because there's literally over 100 replies from this tweet asking Grok if it's true. And every time Grok says it's sarcasm. So the fact that AI knows sarcasm more than half of the humans that were interacting with this post, because I remember writing a poll afterwards. I said, did you think I was serious about the post? 50.7% said I wasn't. So 49.3 people, almost exactly half, thought I was serious, and probably thinks I'm still serious, and that Jay-Z has somehow silenced me into saying it's fake when it really isn't.
Right.
Are you surprised?
So when I saw it, I probably read the first 2 sentences. I know you. I know how you feel about the Tory and Meg situation.
Yes.
So I immediately understood that it was sarcasm.
Yes.
Did not bother to read the rest of it. But then as I'm scrolling through Twitter, like over the course of the next day or two, I'm seeing more and more people engaging with it and talking about it. And so I actually tweeted, I quoted it and said, it's unbelievably sad that we live in a world in which this tweet is being taken seriously. Like, it really makes me think less of the average hip hop fan, that this is something that's getting this much traction. And, 10 minutes after I tweet that, my girl is sitting next to me in bed and she goes, did you see this tweet that Vlad has? Do you think he's serious? And, she was in the same boat where she had read the first couple sentences and then stopped reading. And, I think part of what made your tweet so successful is the fact that on Twitter, or really any social media platform, people just tend to go with the caption, or they read the very beginning of it, and people don't like to read paragraph upon paragraph. But yeah, dude, I was let down. I'm somebody who's kind of like inherently anti-conspiracy theory, just because I feel like almost every conspiracy theory is usually easily explained by things that are a lot less salacious. But I mean, conspiracy theories are so attractive to low information voters, from people who are really not that bright, but like the idea of putting the pieces of a puzzle together and being able to figure something out. And the truth is that it's the same reason why there are all these conspiracies about 9/11, right? Because the reality of a bunch of Islamic terrorists getting together and deciding that they were going to inflict damage upon the United States it's almost like too simple. And the idea that this could just happen is kind of scary to people. So the idea that a guy like Tory, who's a notorious hothead, could be angry enough with Meg Thee Stallion in that moment to shoot at her is just somehow not enough for people, that they have to invent all this crazy bullshit that anybody with any type of intelligence would be able to see through. Is just shocking. And like, even with Ack, like I didn't actually watch the clip of you guys arguing about it, but I saw a lot of people saying that like you were telling Ack that it was sarcasm, and he almost like didn't want to believe you. Like, I feel like Ack wanted to speak on behalf of the people and like was giving, he was trying to like read into it to the point where he thought that maybe it really was true. I don't know. You could tell me how that conversation actually went.
No, it was like a 2-hour conversation. And he was like, well, during my deposition about the Megan situation, they accidentally flashed an email where it says, oh, send this to Desiree Perez. And I'm like, yeah, and? Oh, and then Desiree, she was sitting with the DA. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's the prosecution, and this is her client. It's the same as sitting with your lawyer if you're supporting someone. Like, I'm like, none of this is conspiracy. All this is regular shit. Like, none of this is weird. You have relationships with people. You show up to court for people if you want to support them, right? This is perfectly normal. How much money do you think Rock Nation actually makes off Megan? Seriously. By the time it trickles to them after all her expenses and how much she's getting paid and everything else like that, she doesn't tour. She comes out with an album every so often. She doesn't go triple, quadruple platinum. She's not a Taylor Swift. They probably make, if they make $1 million a year overall in terms of the company by itself, I think that's generous. Yeah. So by the time you cut that money down, what does Jay get? Maybe $100,000 a year? He doesn't have watches that cheap. See what I'm saying? That doesn't even buy a Jay-Z watch.
Right.
So the whole thing is so stupid to me. Tori's lawyer actually reached out to me.
Okay.
And was like, hey, I heard you have some information. And I'm like, no, all lies, all exaggerations, all sarcasm, sorry.
But you get, okay, Steve Bannon coined this term of flooding the zone, which is basically like the mentality of, if you want to obscure some actual messed up stuff that's happening, what you need to do is every day there needs to just be story after story and misinformation upon misinformation. And that's something that Trump has really mastered, because Trump throughout his presidency has done some pretty messed up stuff, but it's almost always drowned out by the next story and the next story. You don't even have a 48-hour period to like consume this one thing that he did, And I think that Tory's legal team, as well as, whatever kind of PR people he's working with, et cetera, I think that they've utilized that strategy pretty effectively. And it didn't work out for them in court, but at least in the court of public opinion, I think that they did a great job at making Meg look like she's the villain in the story. And that Tory is this like embattled, like, person who's being unfairly maligned. And, it's kind of insane to me. I don't understand how such a huge percentage of hip hop has been able to be swayed by what to me is just obvious propaganda. But that's the world we live in, where, conspiracies are a lot more fun than the truth. Candace Owens' podcast is a lot more popular than all of the more rational, reasonable podcasters out there. And everything she says is this sort of bizarro conspiracy theory where Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk are responsible for the death of Charlie
she's
Kirk.
Coming out with a documentary blaming Erica Kirk for his death.
And she's streaming with 100,000 people watching her live on a daily basis. This is the world that we live in, that this shit is so attractive to people.
But look, I proved my point. Like, this is really easy. This is really easy to do.
Yeah.
Like what Candace does, what you're talking about, I showed you with one tweet, right? 100,000 people tuned in, 14 million impressions, probably 15 million by now. And actually, if you count what everyone else ran with it, all the TikTok videos, all the Twitter posts, all the Instagram, all the Snapchat, would you say easily 100 million impressions?
Oh, yeah.
Easily?
Gigantic. And think about it. If you had the moral compass of an Alex Jones, or the lack thereof, you would have leaned into it.
Oh, I would keep going harder with it.
Because a lot of these media personalities have no commitment to the truth. They just want to, they see the likes coming in, they see the members signing up, the Patreon dollars, etc. And they say, okay, I'm not going to stand up and worry about the truth. I'm not going to make this a real quest to figure out what really happened. I'm just going to lean into whatever's working. If you do an interview with a guy, you do interviews with this fucking alien guy, which is not honestly that far apart from it, except that the alien thing's not nearly as dangerous.
Shout out to Dr. Stephen Greer.
Yeah.
One of my top interviews.
I feel it. And I'm sometimes in a similar situation. Did I keep interviewing Aaron Carter past the point where it was kind of clear that he was not in a great mental state.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And why was I doing that? Because I was being incentivized to do that by the views and the dollars, et cetera. I mean, in that situation, I was a lot less sophisticated at that point because it's like 2018, 2019. But a lot of these political commentators, et cetera, they're swayed by that. If something moves the needle, they keep doing it over and over and over, and it doesn't matter if it's not true.
Wait, look. You know what Rock Nation told me?
What?
Nothing. They didn't care. They don't give a shit. In fact, they're probably happy I did that because I highlighted the stupidity that people have been trying to pin on them for years, including big names like Nicki Minaj. It's not just a whole bunch of people with cat pictures on their Twitter profile. It's actual big people like Nicki Minaj. So it's like, oh, Jay-Z's going to sue you for this. Like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Jay-Z's not going to sue me. The night of the tweet, Sneeko called me because I just interviewed him, and I got on a stream and I said, it's all bullshit. It's all lies. Yeah. I'm not Jaguar right. Because I remember Jaguar like tweeted me something. Oh, you're saying that.
And she's doing millions of views on her interviews because people love this salacious conspiracy.
But I am not her, and I am not going in her direction. The point of this was to show how easy it is to get millions and millions of views off of something that has no fact, no reality, nothing even remotely connected to anything, and yet millions and millions and millions of people will tune in and engage. And if I was selling something, they would have bought it. And listen, imagine if I did this. Listen, I'm going to do a private stream where I'm going to expand on everything here, but it's only on the membership. Only on the membership can you watch this. I'm not going to, it's too dangerous to go publicly live with it. My life is in danger. You know what I was going to do? I was going to do a follow-up video where I'm in the trunk of a car. And I'm like, yo, Jay-Z just kidnapped me. I'm in the trunk of his Maybach right now. I don't know where I'm going. My phone is dying. It's down to 2%. This might be my last phone call.
You know how you messed up? Is that you did it on a platform that is like essentially not monetized. Like if that tweet had been you sitting here and talking to the camera for 30 minutes or whatever.
Oh yeah, it would have been ballistic.
That would have been a great month.
You're right.
Yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, it's just easy and stupid and pointless. Yeah. It's a lot harder to do some real shit than to do this Jaguar right brain dead shit.
Yeah.
You know, that people are eating all up because people still believe me that it's true.
Yeah.
People will not believe me, but they're arguing with me saying it's true. I've been compromised. Jay-Z obviously paid me or he threatened me or something. I can honestly tell you, my right hand, I swear to tell the truth, I don't have any connection to Jay-Z or Rock Nation. I've talked to Lenny S. here and there every so often. I haven't talked to him recently. I've never been paid by Rock Nation.
Mm-hmm. If anything, you probably wish that they would send you their artists more often.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I haven't had any Rock Nation artists actually interview with me at all that I can even remember.
And the thing that really pisses me off is that I guarantee you can go look at the comments on this clip and you're going to see a bunch of people who are visibly angry about us basically telling them that their beloved conspiracy theories are bullshit. And I've had this experience so many times because, just to crack open this can of worms, the Epstein files recently came out or a large percentage of them. And, I had a friend of mine who came out to me and he said, did you see the stuff in the Epstein files about how Trump was using his fingers to measure the sizes of the little girls' vaginas? And I said, yeah, that's fake. And he said, no, it's real. I saw a TikTok about it. And I said, no, it's fake. And I'm like, I'll give you 5 minutes right now. Get on your phone and try to prove to me that that's real. Because the truth is that when the Epstein files were being released, a lot of people started cooking up fake emails to basically mix in with the real emails. And there's just tons of stuff that, the Epstein files were revelatory in a lot of ways, and we found out a lot about how the elites live. But the truth is that they weren't nearly as salacious as I think that we were actually hoping that they would be, or not hoping. Obviously, nobody wants to see these kids getting abused and trafficked or whatever. But there was a lot less evidence of that stuff than I think a lot of people were planning on. And this is a guy I'm friends with, and he's visibly angry at me that I'm telling him that these things are not true. And, you know, even the other day, he says, another guy says to me, he's like, you know, did you hear Iran? They've been bombing those protesters. They killed 88,000 of them in 2 days. I go, no, there's no way. He's like, how do you know? I go, you're telling me they killed 88,000 people in 2 days? That's like, that's such a horrific number. That's so out of line. I'm like, get on your phone and convince me that. And he looks it up and he's like, well, it says 3,000 people might have died. And I said, okay, well, that's a very different number than 88,000, right? And he's like, yeah, but it's still a lot of people. And I go, okay, well, now you're moving the fucking goalpost because 3,000 is nowhere near 88,000. And it's just like the way people get angry at you when you actually have any kind of commitment to the truth. And again, the comments on this post will be perfect evidence of that. It's astonishing. We live in a post-truth era where people don't really care about the truth. They care about how the information that they're taking in makes them feel. And it's pathetic.